So what is a HMO or an HMO? Depends where you come from in the country. I say HMO. So my main property strategy is investing in HMOs. So a HMO stands for a house in multiple occupation. And that means you've got 3 or more people forming 2 or more households. So that could be a student let, it could be a co-living, you could call it whatever you want to, but effectively if you've got 3 or more people forming 2 or more households with shared facilities, then you have yourself a HMO. So why do I invest in HMOs over everything else? Well, I've got a very varied portfolio. So whilst I do have a lot of HMOs, I also have flats, I also have single lets, serviced accommodation units and holiday lets as well. But the thing is with HMOs, a lot of people say, well, you know, you're buying all these houses, Rick, and you're turning them into house shares and HMOs, ruining neighbourhoods and, you know, causing antisocial behaviour. Now, I can categorically say that you would never know you're outside one of my HMOs because they're so well managed and they just look like normal houses. Now we're creating more opportunity, so we're not taking it away, we're creating it, because one house can be converted to 5 or 6 bedroom HMO, so we're actually creating 5 opportunities rather than just having one property for one group of people. So the reason I invest in HMOs is, number 1, I like to house as many people as possible because there is a housing shortage. Number 2, in terms of a business strategy, it's probably the best cash flowing business strategy in terms of private residential letting in the market out there. Why? Because they're more profitable. And at the end of the day, business is business. Business is about profit. And of course, we've got several income streams at once. So if you've got 6 or 5 HMO rooms, if you've got 1 empty room, you've still got 5 or 4 individual streams of income. If you've got 2 empty rooms, you've still got 3 individual streams of income, unlike a single let where you're either fully occupied or you're not. So, there's no in between with single lets. So the profit margins for HMOs are way, way better, which means that you can get higher valuations on the property, which could also result in you refinancing your money back out on the other side, which means you could do a strategy that we call momentum investing. Momentum investing is where you'll buy a property, you'll add value, and then you'll refinance at the new value and get your money back out. So in terms of tenant demographic, well, a lot of people say to me, oh, right, Rick, you're putting all these antisocial behavioural type tenants in. I'm not. All of my tenants are just normal people, folks, just like you and me, because a very loud helicopter just flying above me. I don't know if you can hear it or not. So they're just normal people like you and me. They get up in the morning, they go to work, and then they come home. There's no different at all. So I don't get any antisocial behaviour, very, very rarely. Now and again I might catch a couple of tenants, smoking a little bit of stuff that there shouldn't be, but that's life. With the right systems in place and the right tenant demographic, you should not really be hearing from your tenants at all. It should be a very easy tenant demographic and strategy for you to follow. So that's why I invest in HMOs. How many do I have? Well, I have about probably 120 HMO tenants. What's the market like for the future? Well, I operate a all-inclusive model, which means that my tenants pay, let's say, £500 a month, and for that they get the full usage of the whole property, they get the full usage of the living room, the garden and everything else, and I also pay the bills. So I pay the gas, the water, the electric, the fibre optic broadband, and they also get a cleaner every 2 weeks as well to go into the property. So it's a really good strategy and very beneficial for the tenants. The future of HMOs, I think the future of HMOs is very, very strong. I think people will always need somewhere affordable to live and that transient lifestyle. So those are my thoughts. That's why I invest in HMO, folks. Hope that was useful. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know in the comments.